Juanita Hopkins was a woman who had it all: money, success, and a life most could only dream of. But when it came to her daughter, Laura, she had one fear: Andrew Osmond. Laura was enchanted by his charm, but Juanita's instincts screamed danger. As Andrew weaved a web of lies, Juanita had to act fast, before it was too late. In the silence of the city's shadows, Juanita would hide her identity and wait. What she uncovered would change everything, for her, for Laura, and for Andrew. Juanita's plan is set into motion, and the stakes have never been higher. What lengths will she go to in order to protect Laura from Andrew's deceit? If you're hooked on this thrilling game of deception, hit that like button and subscribe, so you don't miss the next chapter. The story is just beginning. The cold wind bites at Juanita's skin as she sits hunched in a dark corner of the park, her once polished appearance now a distant memory. The chill in the air mirrors the cold knot tightening in her stomach. She pulls her shabby coat tighter around her frail frame, grateful for its warmth, but even more grateful for its anonymity. The once flawless, designer clothes she wore with pride are gone. In their place, an old woolen sweater and faded jeans, a disguise that helps her blend in with the shadows of the park. Her mind races. This is no ordinary day. This isn't just a walk in the park, or an idle afternoon watching the world pass by. Today, she watches Andrew Osmond with a sharp, calculating eye. For weeks now, she's observed him from afar, his charming smile, his soft words, and the way he showers Laura with attention. It's all a game, Juanita thinks, her eyes narrowing as Andrew walks arm in arm with her daughter. A game he's been playing for weeks, trying to win Laura's heart, but not for love. Juanita's suspicions have grown with each passing day, each passing moment that Andrew weaves his manipulative web around Laura. It's not her heart he wants, it's her wealth. Juanita, at 66, has lived a life of luxury and success, surrounded by the comforts that wealth can provide. But none of that compares to the single most important thing in her life: Laura. Her only daughter, the one person she would protect at any cost. The park is quiet now, save for the occasional rustling of dry leaves as the wind picks up again. Juanita watches Andrew and Laura, their silhouettes stark against the fading light of the evening. Andrew Osmond is the perfect gentleman, handsome, polished, and effortlessly charming. The kind of man anyone would be proud to call their future son-in-law. But Juanita isn't fooled. She sees the way he looks at Laura, not with the adoration of a loving partner, but with the calculation of someone plotting their next move. The way his eyes linger on Laura's smile, not because he loves her, but because he can already picture the life he'll lead with her wealth at his fingertips. Juanita can see through the illusion. She's been around long enough to know what it looks like when someone is after something more than love. As she watches, her heart tightens. Laura deserves so much more than to be swept away by a man who only seeks to use her. Juanita knows that if she doesn't act, her daughter will be trapped in this web of lies, manipulated by the very man who claims to love her. But what could she do? How could she expose Andrew for what he truly was without Laura knowing? How could she prevent Laura from falling further under his spell? Her mind spins, racing with possible options, but none of them seem right. And then, like a sudden bolt of lightning, a plan forms. Juanita's lips curve into a knowing smile, her eyes lighting up with a dangerous determination. She would disappear. She would become someone unrecognizable. A stranger to Laura, and more importantly, to Andrew. A woman so hidden in plain sight that Andrew would never see her coming. With her mind made up, Juanita lets out a soft sigh of relief. She would expose him. She would find a way to show Laura the truth about Andrew Osmond before it was too late. But how could she be sure? She glances at Andrew and Laura once more. The sun dips lower on the horizon, casting a golden hue over the two of them. Laura laughs, tossing her head back in that way she always does when she's happy, oblivious to the danger slowly creeping into her life. Andrew's laughter is too easy, too practiced. He's dangerous. Juanita's eyes narrow. I'll do whatever it takes. She would play the game, but she would play it on her own terms. Andrew wouldn't know what hit him. The plan begins to form in Juanita's mind with terrifying clarity. She would disappear. She would shed her identity, the luxurious wardrobe, the grand mansion, the name that everyone in town knew. She would become invisible. No longer the polished, well-known woman she once was. She would become someone no one would recognize, a homeless woman. The idea stuns her for a moment, but it's the only way. She could move unnoticed, unremarkable, and gather the information she needed. It would be slow, it would be dangerous, and it would require every ounce of patience and cunning she had. But the reward would be worth it. Her fingers twitch with the anticipation of the role she is about to play. It's not just about exposing Andrew. It's about protecting Laura. It's about showing her that not all that glitters is gold, and not every smiling face is genuine. Andrew Osmond would never know what hit him. Juanita rises from her seat on the park bench, her body stiff and uncomfortable in her new disguise. Her movements are cautious, but there's a fire burning inside her. This is just the beginning. As she walks away, her eyes fixed firmly on the horizon, a new sense of determination fills her chest. She knows she'll have to be patient, that the truth will take time to unravel. But Juanita is no stranger to patience. For all her wealth and influence, it's her motherly love that has always been her greatest weapon. And she will wield it like a sword. Her daughter will not be deceived. Not while Juanita is watching. As she watches Andrew walk away, a new, dangerous plan begins to form in her mind. But will she be able to pull it off before he fully manipulates Laura? If you're just as shocked as Juanita by Andrew's true intentions, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think will happen next. Will Juanita's plan work? Juanita adjusts the worn-out coat around her shoulders, feeling the fabric cling to her body like a second skin. It's a far cry from the elegant gowns and tailored suits she once wore, but that's exactly what she needs now. Disguised in these shabby clothes, with a large frayed hat pulled low over her silver hair, Juanita blends into the crowd with eerie precision. Her mind races, as each step she takes is calculated, methodical. This isn't her. This isn't the woman who built a billion-dollar empire. This isn't the confident, poised matriarch everyone in the city knows. No, this is a woman who's throwing everything she's ever been into the shadows, willing to sacrifice her identity for the sake of her daughter's future. The park, now a blend of shadows and fading light, becomes her stage. A homeless woman, invisible to the world. She walks with purpose but no grace, her steps slow and deliberate, shuffling along like someone who has nowhere else to go. Every now and then, she looks up to assess the people around her. A few pass by, giving her a glance of disdain. Others ignore her entirely. She's nothing more than a piece of scenery now, a part of the city's forgotten corners. But Juanita's eyes are trained on one person, Andrew Osmond. She spots him from across the street, walking with his usual confident stride. His eyes scan the surroundings as if he's aware of his own presence, and his polished appearance only serves to highlight the gulf between him and the life he's pretending to be part of. He has no idea that the woman he's been helping is the very person who can expose his deceit. She watches as he walks past her, his attention momentarily distracted by a group of young women laughing and chatting nearby. Juanita takes this opportunity to observe him more closely. His eyes scan the park for someone, something to use. Juanita's pulse quickens as she realizes just how well Andrew has played his role. He's the perfect gentleman, charming, helpful, and always willing to lend a hand. But she knows what lies beneath the surface. As if on cue, Andrew notices her sitting on the park bench, a crumpled cup in her hands. His gaze shifts, his expression softening in that familiar way, like he's the only one who can help her. A smile tugs at the corners of his lips as he approaches her, a predator who thinks he's the protector. "Excuse me, ma'am," Andrew says, his voice smooth, almost too smooth. "You look like you could use some help. Would you like me to get you something warm? Maybe a cup of tea?" Juanita doesn't immediately respond. She studies him carefully, her heart beating just a bit faster. He's playing the game again. The act of kindness, the warmth in his eyes. It's all designed to appeal to the vulnerable. He doesn't know she's watching him so closely, doesn't realize that Juanita has seen enough to know what's going on behind the facade. Andrew sits beside her, an air of false empathy surrounding him. He pulls out his phone and orders a coffee from a nearby cafe, all the while continuing the conversation in that fake, concerned tone. "Are you okay?" he asks, almost mockingly. "I've seen you around here a lot. Don't you have anyone to look after you?" Juanita's hands clench around her coffee cup. She could expose him right now, call him out for what he is, make him realize he's talking to the very woman he's deceiving. But she holds her tongue, knowing that patience is her weapon. "I've seen you around too," she responds, her voice low but clear. "You always seem to know how to get people's attention." Andrew looks at her, the corner of his mouth lifting in what he thinks is a friendly smile. He leans in slightly, the movement smooth, rehearsed. "It's just who I am. I like to help when I can." Juanita raises an eyebrow, making sure her expression is unreadable. She takes a slow sip from her cup, savoring the warmth as she watches Andrew's subtle glances at the nearby storefronts. He's not looking at her for long. His eyes flick back to the women nearby, scanning their every move. His mind is already working out how to approach his next target, the next moment where he can gain favor. And there it is. He's already thinking about how he can use Laura to his advantage. He doesn't know it, but Juanita can hear every word he says. And she knows now, this man is a wolf in sheep's clothing. His true intentions, hidden behind his charming smile, are becoming clearer with each passing moment. "So," Andrew says, his voice dropping lower, almost conspiratorial, "I'm sure Laura will be thrilled when I propose. Her family's fortune will be a game changer for both of us. Once I marry her, I'll have everything I've ever wanted. You know, she's too naive to see it, but..." Juanita's breath catches in her throat. He's speaking about her daughter as if she's just another means to an end, a tool to be used. His next words nearly make her tremble with rage. "Once I marry her, all this money will be mine. I just have to play my cards right," he continues, his voice filled with excitement. "She's so trusting. She won't even know what hit her." Juanita's hand tightens around her cup. How dare he? She'd heard enough. She slowly sets the cup down, looking up at him with a calculated calm. Andrew's eyes shift nervously. He doesn't know yet that he's been caught. This is it. Juanita leans in slightly, her voice steady. "You're not as clever as you think, Andrew. I've heard everything. Every word. Every lie." Andrew freezes, his face paling slightly. He opens his mouth to speak, but she's already ahead of him. "I've been homeless," she continues, her eyes cold and unflinching. "I've lived on the streets, but I never imagined I'd see a man so consumed by greed. I'm Laura's mother, and I'll make sure you never get close to her again." Andrew's jaw tightens, but he says nothing. The facade cracks just enough for Juanita to see the truth. He never thought he'd be caught. As she sits in the park, watching him speak to Laura, the words she hears shock her. Andrew is more manipulative than she thought. Will she confront him now, or wait? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. The rain falls in sheets, heavy and unforgiving, turning the city streets into glistening rivers of water. Juanita, hidden beneath the awning of a small cafe, watches Andrew from across the street. He's oblivious to her presence, strolling with a friend as they exchange casual conversation, but it's what he says next that shakes her to her core. "Once I marry her, all this money will be mine." Andrew's voice drifts through the air, loud enough for Juanita to hear. Her heart races, the cold droplets from the rain slipping down her neck as she leans in closer to catch every word. "She's so naive she won't see it coming," he continues, his voice dripping with smug satisfaction. Juanita's stomach churns, the weight of his words hitting her like a punch to the gut. Juanita holds her breath as her hands instinctively tighten around her purse, knuckles white with rage. This is it. The confirmation she needed. Andrew Osmond's true intentions. He isn't in love with Laura. He never was. He only wants her wealth, her inheritance. Juanita suppresses a smile, her gaze narrowing. She watches him as he casually laughs with his friend, completely unaware that Juanita, the very woman he's been lying to and about, is mere feet away, listening to every word. She's already so blinded by my charm. I just have to play my cards right, and once we're married, I'll have everything I ever wanted, Andrew continues, unaware of the storm he's about to face. He's still caught in the belief that he's in control. Juanita's heart pounds in her chest as her instincts kick in. This is the moment. She's been waiting for it, watching, planning, and now, finally, she has everything she needs to expose him. But she knows one thing for sure: this isn't just about exposing Andrew. It's about protecting her daughter from a man who would destroy everything she's worked so hard to build. Her mind races, calculating the next steps. She'd been playing her part carefully, slipping in and out of the shadows, pretending to be just another homeless woman in the city. But now, the time for waiting is over. The trap is set. As Andrew walks away, Juanita's emotions are a turbulent storm of disgust, anger, and a deep-rooted sense of protection. She watches him until he disappears from view, her grip on the railing of the cafe tightening. Her hands tremble slightly, not from fear, but from the intensity of her resolve. He's been playing her daughter, and it's time to turn the tables. She watches the world move around her, a world she's always been part of, but that now feels so far removed. For the first time, Juanita doesn't feel like an outsider because of her wealth. She feels like an outsider because of the woman she's had to become to protect her family. She takes a deep breath and steps out into the rain. The cold hits her like a shock, but it's nothing compared to the cold rage building inside her. As she walks, she glances around, her eyes searching for Andrew. She knows he'll be out there somewhere, moving through the streets, thinking he's untouchable. As the evening darkens, Juanita follows Andrew, keeping a safe distance. She stays in the shadows, blending into the backdrop of the city's evening rush. She's not just stalking him, she's studying him. His movements, his body language, his interactions. She needs to know everything there is to know about this man if she's going to outsmart him. He stops at a restaurant, chatting with another well-dressed man, laughing as if everything in the world is in his hands. Everything but Laura. Juanita leans against a nearby wall, watching the scene unfold before her. The two men laugh louder now, a few shared jokes about business and wealth passing between them. But as the conversation continues, Juanita's ears prick up as she hears Andrew speak again. "And once I marry Laura, I'll have everything," he says again, his voice full of that same arrogance. "It's just a matter of time. She'll never see me for what I really am." The poor girl is already in too deep. Juanita's eyes narrow, her lips trembling with controlled fury. Is he really this arrogant? He believes he's already won. He doesn't know that the tables are about to turn in ways he can't even imagine. As Andrew heads inside the restaurant, Juanita retreats into the dark alley nearby, her thoughts racing. She's seen enough to know that the plan she's about to execute will break him. She'll be the one to reveal the truth. But more than that, she'll be the one to protect Laura. It's only then, standing in the rain with the distant hum of the city around her, that Juanita realizes just how much she's willing to risk. She's willing to lose everything to protect Laura. Her wealth, her reputation, her comfort, everything. For Laura, she would give it all. She pulls the hood of her coat tighter around her face, moving deeper into the shadows. It's time to make Andrew pay for what he's done, and what he's about to do. But as the plan continues to unfold, a new question lingers in Juanita's mind. How far will Andrew go to hide his true nature? He's already shown his hand, but now the real game begins. Will he play along, pretending to be the perfect man for Laura? Or will Juanita be the one to expose him for the fraud he truly is? With her plan set in motion, Juanita is ready to confront Andrew. But will he fall into her trap, or will he somehow escape her watchful eye? Will Juanita's plan work, or will Andrew outsmart her? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The following day, the streets of the city seem unchanged, but Juanita knows everything is different now. The heavy rain has cleared, and the city's usual buzz fills the air. She moves through the crowd, blending in as she always has, though her mind is sharp, her resolve even sharper. The moment of reckoning is here. She's waited for this, watched him, studied him, observed the cracks in his charming exterior. Andrew believes he's playing the perfect game, but he has no idea who he's truly dealing with. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. It's a text from him. "I've found a quiet spot. Let me buy you lunch." Juanita's lips curl into a smile. He thinks he's still in control. She types back quickly, "I'll meet you there." As Juanita makes her way to the small diner Andrew suggested, her pulse quickens, the anticipation building. Today will be the day she confronts him, the day she reveals herself for who she really is and shatters his world of deceit. Inside the diner, the air smells of fresh coffee and fried food, a comforting contrast to the tension Juanita feels. She takes a seat at a corner booth, her eyes scanning the room as she waits. The old wooden table feels oddly familiar beneath her hands, a strange reminder of the life she's lived before all this, before Andrew's web started to entangle her daughter. Andrew walks in moments later, his smile wide and eager, completely unaware of what's about to happen. His charming demeanor never falters as he slides into the seat across from Juanita. The waiter arrives with menus, and he orders a coffee without even glancing at the options. "Good to see you," Andrew says, his voice smooth and practiced, his eyes shining with that same forced warmth. "I thought you could use a break from, well, everything." He gestures toward her worn clothes, but there's no judgment in his eyes, only a calculated sympathy. "It's a tough world out there, huh?" Juanita suppresses the urge to scoff. Tough world? He has no idea what tough really is. She smiles softly, her eyes meeting his. "Yes, it's a tough world. But not nearly as tough as you think, Andrew." His eyes narrow just slightly, but he quickly recovers, pretending he didn't catch the hint of hostility in her voice. "You're a strong woman," he says, leaning back in his seat. "I admire that." Juanita's lips curl into a small, knowing smile. She takes a deep breath, steadying herself for the confrontation she's about to initiate. She leans forward, her voice calm but firm, cutting through the air like a blade. "I know everything, Andrew. I know your intentions. I know what you've been saying about my daughter." His smile falters for a split second before he quickly masks it, trying to regain his composure. But it's too late. The truth has already been revealed. Juanita can see the fear flash behind his eyes, and it fuels her confidence. She watches him closely, waiting for his next move. "What are you talking about?" he stammers, trying to laugh it off. But there's no humor in his eyes. The facade is cracking, and Juanita can feel the power shift. She doesn't give him the chance to play dumb. "Cut the act, Andrew," she says, her voice steady but full of venom. "I've been watching you manipulate my daughter. You've made it clear that you don't love her. All you want is her wealth. You've been pretending to care, pretending to be the perfect man, but all you really want is to get your hands on everything she has." His face pales. The mask slips completely. For a moment, he says nothing, and that silence is enough. Juanita can see the gears turning in his mind as he realizes just how badly he's been caught. He leans back in his chair, his voice suddenly cold. "You're insane. You think I know you, Andrew. I know exactly who you are. I heard you last night, talking to your friend, about how once you marry Laura, you'll have everything you've ever wanted. How you plan to take all her money." Her eyes narrow, and she watches his face turn white as the truth sinks in. "You're a liar, a manipulator, and you've been using her. All this time, you've been using her." Andrew's hand clenches into a fist on the table. He looks around nervously, as if searching for a way out. But Juanita can see the fear now. He's realizing the danger he's in, and for the first time, He knows he's no longer the one pulling the strings. I don't know what you're talking about, he says again, his voice tight, but there's a noticeable tremor. You've got it all wrong. I love Laura. I want what's best for her. You're just... No, Juanita interrupts, her voice low but resolute. You don't love her. You love her money. You've been playing a game, and I've been watching you. I've seen you pretend, seen you manipulate every word, every move. And I'm done pretending too. Andrew's mouth opens and closes, but no words come out. The truth has hit him like a freight train, and he has nowhere to hide. For a moment, they sit in silence, the weight of Juanita's words hanging between them like a heavy fog. Juanita leans back in her seat, her eyes unwavering as she watches Andrew squirm. She's not done yet. The worst part, she continues, her voice colder now, is that you thought you could get away with it. You thought I wouldn't see through you. But I've known from the start. Andrew swallows hard, his face a mixture of shock and fury. You're crazy if you think. No, Juanita interrupts again, her tone sharp as a knife. You're the one who's crazy, Andrew. You thought you could come into my daughter's life and manipulate her. But you don't know who you're dealing with. Andrew's face turns pale as he realizes Juanita knows everything. But what will his next move be? Will he try to cover up his deceit or run? Will he come clean or try to lie his way out? If you're hooked on this confrontation, make sure to like and subscribe and drop your thoughts below. The silence between them is thick, suffocating. Juanita's words hang in the air like a heavy fog, her accusations still fresh, still raw. Andrew, caught off guard, opens his mouth to speak, but no words come out at first. His mind races, his chest tight with the weight of the truth that's just been forced upon him. How did it come to this? How had he let his guard down? He's not used to being caught. Not like this. Not by someone who's been hiding in plain sight, playing a role of her own. With a deep breath, Andrew steadies himself, his composure slowly returning. His arrogance is evident, but now it's wrapped in a layer of fury. He leans back in his chair, crossing his arms, trying to exude control. But Juanita can see through it. She's already seen enough. He's unraveling. No, Andrew finally speaks, his voice a little too sharp. You've got it all wrong, Juanita. I never meant to hurt Laura. I never meant any of this. This isn't how it looks. His words are rushed, desperate, as he tries to reframe the situation, to make himself appear the victim. Juanita leans forward, her eyes unwavering. You're still lying. Even now. She speaks with a calmness that belies the fury inside her. She's seen enough to know the truth, and now, she's ready to make him face it. You've been using her from the start, pretending to care for her, pretending to be the man she needed, all while planning to take everything she's worked for. Andrew's face reddens, the mask cracking further. He can't control his emotions now. The rage inside him is spilling over. I didn't do anything wrong, he snaps, his fists clenching on the table. She's naive. I had to do this. She had it all. She was perfect. You think I'm the only one who saw that? Juanita watches him carefully, her heart steeled against the lies spilling from his mouth. Perfect? He saw Laura as a means to an end, nothing more. And the fact that he's sitting here now, still trying to manipulate her, only confirms that he's far more dangerous than she ever thought. She doesn't flinch. You manipulated her, Andrew. You played on her trust. And now you're trying to play me too. But it's over. You're done. His arrogance falters for a moment, but then a flicker of determination shines in his eyes. He's not ready to give up just yet. Andrew leans forward, his voice lowering, trying a different approach. Listen, he says, his tone shifting, almost pleading. You don't understand. I did what I had to do. What I had to do to secure my future, our future. I thought maybe I could change things, get her to see the truth, But it's too late now. Juanita's gaze hardens. You don't get it, do you, Andrew? This was never about changing things. You didn't want to build something with Laura, you wanted to take from her. All you see is what you can get out of her. The money. The status. The power. Andrew's eyes flash with anger, but there's something else too. Fear. You don't know what it's like to have nothing, he says through gritted teeth, the mask of control slipping once more. I've worked my whole life for this. And I was just trying to get what I deserved. Juanita's eyes narrow. So this is his justification. He's not only a liar, but a man who feels entitled to everything he can grab. He believes the world owes him something, whether it's Laura's love or her wealth. He feels justified in taking it. You've worked for nothing but greed, Andrew, she says quietly, but the words hit him like a slap. And you'll pay for it. The tension between them grows, thickening in the air like the storm clouds outside. Juanita remains still, her presence unwavering, while Andrew seethes in anger. His facade is shattering, and he knows it. He's not used to being called out like this. He's always had control. He's always been the one who pulled the strings, the one who played everyone else. But now, sitting across from Juanita, he realizes she's not someone he can deceive. Her voice drops, the calmness in her tone only making it worse for him. If you ever come near my daughter again, if you even think about manipulating her, I will make sure you never see her again. You're done, Andrew. This ends now. Juanita leans back, her eyes cold as ice, as she watches his entire world begin to crumble. There's no coming back from this. Andrew clenches his fists beneath the table, his eyes filled with frustration. His arrogance is gone, replaced with a barely contained rage. He tries to mask it, but it's impossible now. Juanita has stripped away every layer, and all that's left is the angry, desperate man who's realized that the life he thought he could have has slipped away. He opens his mouth to say something, anything, to regain control. But the words die on his lips. He can't lie his way out of this. He can't pretend anymore. Juanita knows the truth, and it's out in the open. The waiter brings their bill, setting it gently on the table. It's almost anticlimactic, the small gesture that signals the end of the showdown. But Juanita isn't done. Not yet. She knows Andrew will try to salvage this. He will plot, he will scheme. But he won't win. Not against her. Andrew attempts to salvage his plan, but the truth continues to surface. As he plots his next move, Juanita feels the weight of the situation. Will she be able to stop him in time? What's next for Andrew? Will he finally face the consequences of his actions? Or will he try to pull another trick? The tension in the room is palpable. Andrew's bravado, the facade he's so carefully constructed, is crumbling before his eyes. His eyes dart around the room, searching for an escape, but there's nowhere to run. The walls are closing in. He's trapped. Juanita stands firm, her presence commanding and unyielding. Her allies, quietly positioned around the room, form an invisible barrier, cutting off every exit. There's no way out for him now. Andrew shifts uncomfortably, his once confident posture now sagging under the weight of the truth that's been forced upon him. He's exposed, his lies, his manipulation, his plans, all of it laid bare for everyone to see. Laura's here. She stands in the doorway, frozen. Her eyes scan the room, her gaze moving from Andrew to her mother, and back again. Her confusion, hurt, and anger mix in a storm of emotions that swirl behind her wide eyes. She doesn't know what to believe. She doesn't know who to trust. Juanita watches her daughter carefully, every movement, every breath. She knows the pain Laura is feeling. She knows this confrontation, this final showdown, will break her daughter's heart. But it's a necessary pain. Better to face the truth now than live in the lie for any longer. Andrew shifts, glancing nervously at the door. His arrogance is gone now, replaced by desperation. He's trying to figure out his next move, but it's too late. He's been caught in his own web of deceit. Andrew starts, but his voice falters, and for the first time, the man who thought he was in control sounds weak. I never wanted it to be like this. Juanita's eyes narrow. This is the moment. You wanted money, she says, her voice cold. You wanted power. You wanted to use my daughter for everything she has. You manipulated her, played with her emotions, and tried to steal her future. You thought you could get away with it. Andrew tries to speak again, but his words are swallowed by the weight of the silence. He can't deny it. He can't talk his way out of this. And then Laura steps forward, her voice trembling as she looks at Andrew, a broken trust burning in her eyes. Why? She whispers, her voice shaking. Why would you do this? I trusted you. Andrew's face tightens as if the question stings more than anything else. He doesn't want to answer her, doesn't want to face the consequences of his actions. But the truth is already out. Laura, he steps forward, reaching for her, but she pulls away, recoiling as if his touch might burn her. Juanita steps between them, a protective shield for her daughter. No, she says firmly. Don't you dare touch her. Andrew stops, his hand still hanging in the air, hovering between them, his eyes searching for an escape. His arrogance is gone, replaced by a man desperate to salvage what little control he has left. Laura's face is pale, her body trembling with a mixture of shock and disbelief. She looks at her mother, then at Andrew, her mind racing as the reality of everything she's just learned settles in. I don't understand, she murmurs, her voice breaking. How could I not have seen it? How could I have been so blind? Juanita places a gentle hand on her daughter's arm, her voice soft, comforting. You didn't see it because you trusted him. And that's not your fault, Laura. You didn't know. But now you do. Andrew, realizing he's losing control, takes a step back, his eyes darting around the room, looking for an escape. He won't get away this time. Before he can make a move, Juanita's allies, who have been silently watching from the shadows, close in. They've been waiting for this moment, ready to act when the time was right. Andrew is cornered, and this time, there's nowhere for him to go. I can't let you do this, Andrew says, his voice rising in a final desperate plea. You can't do this to me. You have no idea what I've been through. Juanita interrupts him, her voice steady and firm. You've made your choice, Andrew. And now you have to face the consequences. Just as the tension reaches its peak, Andrew makes his move. He turns, trying to push past one of Juanita's allies. But in a flash, they're on him, blocking his path. His last-ditch effort to escape is futile. The truth has caught up with him. The sound of sirens fills the air, growing louder as the police arrive, just as planned. Juanita's heart races with anticipation. This is it, the moment he's been avoiding, the moment he has to face the full extent of his actions. Andrew freezes. His eyes widen in shock as the realization hits him. He's done. Juanita doesn't look at him. Her focus is entirely on Laura, who stands at the center of it all, her face a mixture of disbelief and heartbreak. She's lost the man she thought she loved. She's lost her trust in everyone around her. But Juanita won't let her drown in this pain. She won't let her daughter suffer alone. She steps toward Laura, her hand gently brushing her arm. I'm sorry, sweetheart, she whispers. But you'll get through this. We both will. Andrew, now surrounded and completely trapped, finally slumps in defeat, his head hanging low as the officers approach him. The last of his arrogance is gone. There's no escaping now. Andrew tries to escape, but the police are on their way. Will he be caught, or does he have one last trick up his sleeve? The stakes are at their highest now. What will happen next? Will Andrew finally face the consequences of his actions, or does he have one final trick to play? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. The weight of the truth is unbearable for Laura. She stands frozen in the center of the room, her heart shattered by the man she once trusted with everything. Her eyes lock onto Andrew, her hands trembling as her world unravels before her. The man who had convinced her he was the one, who promised love, companionship, and a future, is nothing more than a liar, a predator. "How could you do this to me?" she whispers, the words barely escaping her lips. The pain in her voice is palpable, each syllable like a dagger to her soul. "I trusted you. I gave you everything, and you," she chokes on the rest of her sentence, tears welling up in her eyes. Andrew stands before her, unable to find the words to explain the irreparable damage he's caused. His facade is gone, and all that remains is the empty shell of a man who believed he could manipulate his way into a fortune. The silence between them is suffocating. He opens his mouth to say something, anything, to undo the damage, but the words fail him. It's too late. Laura looks away, as if the truth is something she can't bear to see. Her heart aches, and the weight of betrayal is more than she can handle. She wanted to believe in him. She wanted to believe that what they had was real. But now, it feels like a cruel joke. Juanita watches the scene unfold from the doorway, her heart breaking for her daughter. She has seen this before, seen the heartbreak, the betrayal, the agony of realizing that love isn't always what it seems. But this time, it's different. This time, she's here to protect Laura, to help her through the pain, to teach her the lessons she'll need to move forward. As Laura begins to break down, her sobs shaking her shoulders, Juanita steps forward. She crosses the room and gently wraps her arms around her daughter, pulling her into a warm embrace. The pain radiating from Laura's body is like a cold weight, but Juanita holds her firmly, her strength a quiet but steadfast presence. "It's okay, sweetheart," Juanita murmurs softly, her voice full of tenderness. "You don't have to carry this alone." Laura's body trembles as she clings to her mother, seeking comfort and security in the only place she feels safe. Her tears fall freely, each one a reminder of the trust she gave away so easily, each one a marker of the deep wound that's been inflicted on her heart. "I don't know how to fix this," Laura sobs, her voice breaking. "I don't know how to move on from this." Juanita pulls back just slightly, enough to look into her daughter's eyes. "You don't have to fix it, Laura," she says gently. "You don't have to have all the answers right now. All you need to do is take one step at a time. You'll heal. And in time, you'll learn the difference between true love and the lies of greed." The weight of Juanita's words hangs in the air, and for a brief moment, the storm in Laura's chest quiets. She knows her mother is right. She knows that healing won't come easily, and the road ahead will be long and painful. But with her mother by her side, she feels the smallest glimmer of hope. Maybe she can move forward. Maybe she can heal. Meanwhile, Andrew stands at a distance, his eyes darting from Laura to Juanita. He has no words left to say, no defense to offer. His manipulation has failed. His game is over. The only thing left for him is to try to escape the consequences of his actions. But it's too late. There's nowhere left to hide. Juanita's gaze never leaves her daughter as she speaks firmly, her voice carrying the weight of a mother's love and determination. "Andrew, it's over. I'm done with you. I don't care what you say or how you try to justify your actions. You're not welcome here. You're not welcome in Laura's life." Andrew opens his mouth to argue, but Juanita silences him with a single look. She doesn't need to hear him anymore. There's nothing left he can say to fix the mess he's created. He's burned every bridge, and now, he's left with nothing but the ashes of his own greed. The pain in Laura's eyes is evident, but Juanita knows this is a turning point for her daughter. It's a painful lesson, one she never wanted Laura to learn, but one she knows is essential. Love is not about what you can take from someone, but about what you give to them. Andrew's version of love was never real. It was a facade, built on lies and manipulation. But now, Laura will understand the true meaning of love, of trust, of sacrifice, of loyalty. Juanita pulls Laura close again, rubbing her back soothingly as the tears begin to slow. "You will come out of this stronger, my love," she whispers. "You will learn, you will grow, and you will find a love that's real. The kind of love you deserve." Laura's eyes close, and she nods silently, wiping her tears away. It's a small gesture, but it's a beginning. She's starting to see the truth for what it is. And though the road ahead will be difficult, she's no longer alone. She has her mother. And that's all she needs to take the first step toward healing. Andrew, still standing there, fuming with frustration, knows the game is over. He made one final attempt at manipulation, but it failed. His plans, built on deceit and greed, have crumbled to dust. He looks at Laura one last time, as if hoping to see some sign of forgiveness. But she's turned her back on him. Juanita's allies step forward, alerting Andrew that the police are on their way. He doesn't try to run. There's nowhere for him to go. He's caught. And as the reality of his situation settles in, Andrew finally understands the depth of his own mistakes. The day has come. The moment Juanita has been waiting for. With Andrew's future hanging in the balance, Juanita stands at the edge of it all, the culmination of weeks of watching, planning, and gathering evidence. She never let him out of her sight, never stopped looking for the crack in his armor. And now it's time for everyone to see the real Andrew Osmond, his lies, his manipulation, and the truth that has been hidden behind his charming facade. Juanita stands on the balcony of her penthouse, looking out over the city she spent a lifetime building. This city, her empire, has seen everything. But today, it will witness the fall of a man who thought he could destroy it all. She looks down at the papers in her hand, the final piece of the puzzle. Evidence, photos, conversations, everything she's gathered over the last few weeks. The truth, in black and white. Andrew's betrayal is not just a personal matter now. It's a public affair. He will be exposed to the world for who he truly is. The world will know what he did, and there will be no place left for him to hide. The press conference is set. Cameras are rolling, and reporters from all over the city fill the room, eager for the latest scandal. But this isn't just any scandal, it's Andrew's downfall. And Juanita is the one who's orchestrated every moment of it. She steps up to the podium, her face calm, her posture impeccable. The room falls silent as the cameras focus on her. She's a woman of power, but today, she's not just the billionaire businesswoman. Today, she's a mother protecting her daughter, and she's about to expose everything. "I've invited you all here today to address the truth," Juanita begins, her voice steady and unwavering. "For too long, my family has been manipulated, deceived, and betrayed. And now the man behind it all, Andrew Osmond, will face the consequences of his actions." The room stirs with murmurs, but Juanita doesn't flinch. She's in control. She has the floor, and the world is listening. "We have collected evidence, photographs, recordings, and witness testimonies that prove beyond any doubt that Andrew Osmond's intentions were never pure. His sole purpose in coming into my daughter's life was not love, but greed." She pauses, letting the weight of her words sink in. The reporters are hanging on every word, waiting for the details, the scandal, the truth. They're hungry for the story, but Juanita knows that this isn't just about the media. It's about justice. As she presses the button on the remote, the screen behind her flickers to life, showing footage of Andrew's conversations, his voice, his words, exposed for the world to hear. "Once I marry her, all this money will be mine," Andrew's voice rings out, filled with arrogance. "I just have to play my cards right." She's so naive, she won't see it coming. The reporters gasp, some whispering among themselves. The footage doesn't lie. The man who stood before them, pretending to be the perfect suitor, is nothing more than a scheming predator. The truth is undeniable now. Juanita's eyes lock onto the crowd, her gaze sharp, cutting through the whispers. "This is who Andrew Osmond truly is," she says, her voice now cold, resolute. "A man driven by greed. A man who thought he could manipulate my daughter, and me, into giving him what he wanted. But no more. I will not stand by and let my family suffer at the hands of a man like this." Andrew's face, now plastered across the screen, is a mixture of shock and fury. He sits in the back of the room, his hands clenched into fists, his body tense. He knows the truth has come out, and there's no escaping it now. The press conference continues, but Juanita doesn't look at him. She's focused on the task at hand. Her daughter's well-being, her family's future, are all that matter now. The damage Andrew caused is real, but the healing can begin. As Juanita finishes her statement, she turns to the audience. I have done what I needed to do. The public will now know the truth. I will protect my daughter, and I will not allow anyone to threaten her happiness again. With that, she steps away from the podium, her back straight, her resolve unwavering. The press explodes with questions, but Juanita has already done what needed to be done. The world will know who Andrew Osmond truly is. Later that day, as the press swarms around Andrew, Juanita watches from the sidelines. This is what it looks like when someone tries to take advantage of your family. It's not pretty. It's not glamorous. But it's necessary. She has exposed Andrew for what he is, and now there's no going back for him. Back at home, Laura watches the aftermath unfold on the news. The shock is still fresh in her eyes, the hurt still visible in the way she carries herself. She sits on the couch, her arms wrapped around herself, as she watches her mother stand tall and unwavering on the news reports. Juanita enters the room, her eyes softening when she sees Laura. She walks over and sits next to her daughter, wrapping her arm around her shoulders. I know you're hurting, sweetheart, Juanita says gently. But you need to understand, this was never about you. This was about him. He used you. He took advantage of your trust. And now, he's being held accountable for it. Laura looks at her mother, her heart heavy with the weight of everything that's happened. She nods silently, knowing in her heart that her mother did what was necessary. The pain will take time to heal, but this chapter is over. The truth has been exposed, and now, Laura can begin to move forward. With Andrew's fate sealed, Juanita breathes a sigh of relief, but as she looks at Laura, she realizes this victory has come at a price. Will their relationship ever be the same? The battle has been won, but the war for Laura's heart is far from over. How will this betrayal change everything? Andrew's fall from grace was swift and final, like a tower crumbling in a storm. His reputation, once built on lies and charm, has now been shattered, and he stands alone broken. The police have escorted him away, the weight of his greed finally catching up with him. Juanita watches as the car carrying Andrew disappears down the street, the last remnants of his presence fading into the distance. She exhales a long, steady breath, her heart heavy but at peace. The battle is over. The victory is hers. But as she turns to face her daughter, standing beside her, she knows that the journey is far from complete. The scars Andrew left won't disappear overnight. Laura stands a few steps behind Juanita, her eyes fixed on the spot where Andrew's car vanished. She's still processing everything that has happened. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the manipulation, everything that Andrew did to her family. But as much as she wants to feel angry, as much as she wants to hate him, there's something else growing inside her, a lesson. A painful, hard-earned truth about love, trust, and family. Juanita's eyes soften as she watches her daughter. She can see it, the transformation that has taken place, the growth that was born from the pain. Laura has learned. And that's all that matters. Later that evening, as the sun dips below the horizon, Juanita and Laura sit together in the quiet of their home. The silence between them is comfortable now, no longer filled with tension or grief. The journey has been long, but it's brought them closer than ever. Juanita turns to her daughter, her heart full of pride and love. You've been through so much, sweetheart, she says, her voice gentle. But you're stronger now. I can see it in you. You've learned the hard way, but you've learned. And that's what matters. Laura looks up at her mother, her eyes still filled with the remnants of pain, but with a new strength behind them. I know, Mom. I never understood it before, but now I do. Love isn't about what you can get from someone. It's about who they are, how they make you feel, how they make you better. Juanita nods, a small smile playing at the corner of her lips. Exactly. And you'll find that one day, when you're ready. A love that isn't about money or power. A love that's real. Laura exhales, her shoulders relaxing for the first time in what feels like forever. I think I'm starting to understand that now. And I'm ready to move forward. I know it won't be easy, but I'll get there. As the evening continues, Juanita reflects on everything that has transpired. Andrew's manipulation, his lies, they're all behind them now. But it hasn't been without a cost. She looks at Laura, her daughter, and realizes that this victory wasn't just about exposing Andrew. It was about showing Laura what real love is. Showing her that, no matter the betrayal, no matter the heartbreak, family is the only thing that matters. And family, for Juanita, is everything. She has always been driven by her desire to protect her daughter, to keep her safe from the world's dangers. She did what she had to do to make sure Laura never had to face a future with someone like Andrew again. As Juanita watches Laura laugh softly, her face lighting up with a warmth she hasn't seen in a long time, she feels a wave of relief. The battle was hard, but it was worth it. Despite the relief that comes with seeing Andrew's defeat, Juanita knows that the journey isn't over. There's still work to be done. Healing takes time. Trust, once broken, takes time to rebuild. But one thing is certain, they're in this together. And no matter what, Juanita will always be there to protect her daughter. Laura's gaze turns to her mother, a quiet understanding between them. I don't know if I'll ever completely forgive myself for trusting him, she says, her voice full of regret. But I'll do everything I can to make sure I never fall into the same trap again. Juanita reaches out, gently taking her daughter's hand in hers. You'll get there, sweetheart. It won't be easy, but you've already come so far. You're learning to trust yourself, and that's the most important thing. And as long as I'm here, I'll always be by your side. As Juanita and Laura stand side by side, watching Andrew being escorted away, they're finally free. The battle is over, and the healing journey has just begun for Laura and Juanita. Thank you for being part of this journey with us.
Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed this story, you will surely love the next one. It's as crazier and more intriguing as you can ever imagine. So do check it out. Click on the image showing on your screen right now to watch the next one.